Wichita Falls is known for its red dirt, Indian heritage, country and western atmosphere, and Friday night lights. But few people know the cornerstones that have fed this city for over 50 years. Restaurants like Pioneer Number 3, Casa Manana, and Gene's Tasty Burger have fought fire, wind, flood, and time and are staples of Wichita Falls cuisine and culture.
Well, originally W.E. McBride had 4 sons, and they made sandwiches and delivered sandwiches, and then they opened up Pioneer Number 1, which is on 15th Street, I believe now. Now they've had from Pioneer 1 to Pioneer 8 to El Gordo's, Lady Cattle Seafood. They've had about 13 restaurants, and this is the last McBride-owned restaurant.
It all started with a car hop area called the Dog House. P3, as it became known, once had the largest service area of North Texas and as many as 30 car hops.
Well, when they first built this restaurant in 49, of course, it was number 3. They built the other 2. I'm not real sure the years they've been. Probably in 45 they went into business. And for many, many, many years, they built from, like I say, from Pioneer 1 to 2 to 3 to 4 up to Pioneer 9. And they pretty much had a monopoly in town. I mean, everybody knew what Pioneer Restaurants was. Everybody went to Pioneer Restaurants.
Just down the road in downtown Wichita Falls, on 8th, you'll find the Casa Manana, the home of the original red taco.
We've been in business about 61 years. Right after World War II, when my dad came out as a prisoner of war. Basically, he was looking at the Wichita Falls area and Colorado, but most of his family was here in Wichita Falls, so that's basically where they started from. The restaurant itself was already an established restaurant, but it was under a different name.
Nick Carr, friend of food since his days as a soda jerk at Walgreens, through his days as a cook in the military with the Lost Battalion, eventually becoming founder of the original Casa Manana over 60 years ago.
We do have about 3 generations of people that are eating here, because a lot of the families, they brought their family when it was young, and those particular people either moved up, moved off, and have come back every time they get back into Wichita, plus they're bringing their families with them. So we got about 3 generations of people that are eating here. So I would say it's kind of like a pyramid. It's been built on the past, where it basically grows as families grow. So we do have a very good base of people that come in.
If a burger is what you're hungry for, Gene's Tasty Burger claims to have the best original burger in town.
Gene's originally opened in 1959 from Gene Pogue. He was down the street for 10 years and then came here and bought out Neil's Burgers. And from there he was in business, and he retired in 2000 after 41 years, and I bought it from him in 2001. And right now it's going on 8 years for myself.
Gene Pogue started his career working at a local Dairy Queen, along with Scott's drive-in owner, George Scott. Eventually, the two would go on to build their own legacies in the restaurant business. There are 3 very important aspects to consider for the existence of a locally owned restaurant: a good location, an excellent workforce, and great food are the recipe for a restaurant's survival.
When opening a restaurant, I would recommend a good location, number 1.
Location, location, location. In order to make a relationship with his customers, these 3 restaurants have been able to make a connection between where they are and their history related to our community.
Growing up, this is where we went. You know, we had Parker Square, and you had downtown. So yeah, this is all part of growing up in Wichita Falls. And I'm glad to see that it's been in the same location and in the same, you know, you got to have some stability in your life somehow, and this is at least part of it, right?
Well, it's always been here. Through everything else that's changed in downtown, you could always count on Casa Manana being pretty much the same.
I've been coming here since I was a baby. I don't know, like 50, yeah. I don't know how long it cost me. I've been here, but it's been here longer than I've been on Earth. When I was 5 or 6, so it's been. I know it's in this same location too. So.
Location for me, I wish I had a better location, but unfortunately everybody knows where we're at, and they will beat down the doors to get here. But this place has been an icon of Wichita Falls, and they know where I'm at, and I wouldn't change a thing.
Hiring good help nowadays isn't such an easy task either.
Luis, I got another Mexican burger, no pickles, onions. If you ever see that one, Mexican burger day, got no pickles, no onions.
Without good help, of course, this would just be an empty building. So I would say our employees is one of the hardest things, because it seems like once a person is trained, they build up their confidence that they can do other things and they move on. Those employees represent us every time that they come out and serve a plate or say hi to someone.
It's getting people that want to work and that understand the restaurant and its significance for how long it has been here, and people that actually put their heart into their work are the people that end up sticking around and being part of the family.
When I interview employees to work for me, I basically look for work ethics, a good personality. I don't want a robot walking around here delivering food. So friendly service is my number one priority with my customers.
I have a lot of regulars. Those are all my favorites. A lot of people, they'll come in like just on Fridays, and if I'm not here, they get all sad. They're like, "Tell her we missed her." That's one reason I like my job.
The waitresses have been here for a long time, and we've got regular customers all the time, and we treat them just like family. We've got one waitress that's been here for 50 years.
At 78 years of age, Anna is still a hard worker. She's been a viable asset to P3, as much of an asset as their famous chicken fried steak. She's very seldom missing a day of work. You can expect to see her 6:30 every morning, Monday through Friday, just like clockwork.
In January, it was 50 years. I enjoy my customers, and it's a pleasant place to work,
Now, whether it's staying the same or changing with the times, each restaurant has their own way of keeping their customers happy and coming back for more. It all comes down to the food. If you're hungry for a Texas-sized chicken fried steak, a big juicy burger, or some tantalizing red tacos with wine sauce, Wichita Falls is where you want to be in order to keep your taste buds tingling. Gene's Tasty Burgers are so good they don't even advertise. They depend on word of mouth, and it works.
I think people want to come to Gene's versus like McDonald's because of our food. Something like McDonald's, you're dealing with pre-cooked, sitting on the shelf, keeping warm type burger. Our best-selling one is probably Frisco Burger, which is a chili cheeseburger.
Though their name may say otherwise, Gene's Tasty Burger is more than just a good burger.
Our meat's brought in fresh daily, our french fries are brought in fresh daily, our onions are made here on premises every morning.
In my opinion, the main ingredients is the food products, because that's what got them here in the first place. So we don't have to rely on something coming out of a can that might be good one day and might not be good the next day.
The food is always consistently good. The atmosphere is, old crusty Wichita Falls, back in the old days.
The tacos, the chips, the queso, the hot sauce, pretty much the staples of a Mexican food restaurant is what we make from scratch, and that's how we keep our control the same every time.
This is a typical Friday. This is every Friday and Saturday. We always get a nice rush coming in.
I think the consistency is one of the main key ingredients, is have the same product every time. Every time they come in here, it's exactly the same. They're already happy with it, so they've got an experience that they're looking forward to.
Now, down at the Casa Manana, they've chosen to stick with the same menu for, well, now 61 years, while others, like P3, enjoy experimenting with their menu. They feel change is a necessary part of their business to keep their food fresh and exciting.
Favorite part of the job? Coming up with different kind of ideas of food. Trying to keep up with the other restaurants, trying to keep up with time. If you don't get up with time, you get left behind. If you get left behind, people don't want to come back. And they know what you have all the time.
Family realize that in order to be successful, keeping up with your customers' wants and demands is vital. Now, the last McBride family-owned restaurant serves up exactly what the customer wants. You say, why? Well, to keep the customers happy, of course.
Well, we're famous for our chicken fry. It fills the plate.
Popular food item? Chicken fries. They're cooked fresh daily. They're not frozen. And we're one of very few restaurants that still cook it fresh.
Being a small, privately owned business is a constant struggle, not only in the workplace, but at home as well. In order to make ends meet and to stay on top, you can't be afraid to get knocked down.
Some of your corporate restaurants started coming in, and it's made a big effect on us. You know, like your Texas Roadhouse, Johnny Carino's, places like Cheddar's, I think, more than anybody. They just opened up Cracker Barrel, just not too far from us, so that's made a difference also. But our number one way for us to compete is to make sure there's good food and good service.
Well, it's really hard sometimes with my wife and I working here because sometimes the business goes home, and I like to keep it separate. Unfortunately, you can't do that. You know, there's always something going on, brief personal time, unless we're closed. It's a challenge sometimes because something might go right and it goes home with us, and we have to let it go and come back and start over all the next day.
Working in a restaurant may seem to be a tough job, and in most instances it is, but when your staff is considered a part of the family, there are many joyful moments that outshine any bad day.
We did have a fire in 2003, August, and that put me out of business for about 5 months. And unfortunately, the insurance didn't cover anything because you're dealing with a 1940, 1950s building, and I had to bring up the code by myself. So the insurance paid almost nothing to me to rebuild, and that was an option I had to do: is do I rebuild or do I just call it quits? And I put out about $200,000 to reopen, and my business came back, so it was good.
The closest thing that's happened this past year was a guy that just got back from Iraq. This was his very first stop whenever he flew back into Wichita Falls, was Casa Manana. This is the first place that he wanted to go. So
it's just amazing. You know, I've got people coming from Dallas on a weekend just to have a burger, and it's just a really neat feeling to know that I have that over somebody else here in town.
Casa Manana's even started to serve outside of Wichita Falls.
it says a lot whenever people call from California or Arlington, Virginia, and ask us to send them food, you know, overnight. And we have people that pay up to about $6 to $8 per taco with shipping whenever it's all said and done.
All in all, it's the people and the relationships that bind us to the restaurant, and that is what makes the difference.
And we got a call there. We're fixing to. Well, I just got you as a call on a documentary. You want to say something for the camera? You want to say how good Casa Manana is? Casa Manana is awesome. Okay, well that's great.
Yeah, I want to get $6.
We made 1 penny while y'all were, see, because it was $19.99. We made 1 penny. The guy didn't get his penny back.